After gaining the fame she had always wanted and dreamed about, Lily Tino became the most hated transgender individual on and off the internet. She faced the heat and storm she had never seen before.
Deeply hurt because of the amount of hate that I've gotten.
This has pushed her to make daring moves to dispute some of the allegations.
I do not have a child, nor have I ever been.
Then finally, she gave up and folded under the pressure.
I don't know when I'll be back.
This video showcases how Lily Tino self-destructed and damaged her reputation in the pursuit of internet fame. We've covered all of Lily Tino's controversies in our previous video, but here, we'll take a look at the latest issues surrounding her. Just as a recap for those who missed the first part, here is an introduction to who this weird character is. Lily is an American TikTok personality and content creator.
Childhood, I grew up in upper middle class. Parents were together, still are.
Born in 1993 and originally from Atlanta, Georgia, Lily came out as a transgender woman in the early 2020s. Her real name at birth was Nicholas Sylvan Contino, but she adopted the name Lily Tino upon coming out. Since then, she has jumped from one controversy to another, including emotionally bullying numerous workers for misgendering her.
It looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Okay.
To actually put employees' work at risk of getting fired in another instance by reporting them.
Like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time it happens.
She's also made child-centric videos by copying Mrs. Rachel while being sexually explicit in her words.
Can you say he's so cuddly? Good.
Lily has also made a sexually suggestive video in the most inappropriate location, Disneyland.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear, we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed.
The controversies went on and on. It was bad for Lily Tino because it brought a lot of heat on her, especially when big brands like International Business Times picked up her story. But with such heat on her, a lot of misinformation could easily be added to make it trend. This has now pushed Lily Tino to make a video addressing some of the allegations against her. But before we get into that, how did people treat Lily after all the controversy? She was getting bullied wherever she went.
Would you like to show your faces?
Yes.
Okay. First off, you called me sir, right? There we go.
Lily was even trolled more in the comments section, with one person saying he needs more hate, using he instead of she as an insult to Lily Tino. Lily didn't excuse the fact that they were just kids.
Those are kids who knew exactly what they were doing. No, they're not ignorant, Rockton. They're hateful. There's a difference.
Even in this case, most of those commenting were in support of the kids, with one saying, "Isn't it illegal to put their faces on cam?" There were more negative comments, with another user named Princess saying, "Good, I hope they do it again." This wasn't just an isolated situation. She faced something even worse along the way.
Did I do the... Oh, ignore it.
What happened was that Lily Tino was streaming, and some of the trolls in her viewership contacted the restaurant she was streaming from to file a complaint about Lily Tino.
They say that you're calling and you tell company for free.
No. It's not true.
The manager's voice wasn't loud enough, but you could read the subtitles to figure out what was being said. The trolls were playing some kind of prank to get Lily thrown out of there. Lily Tino was left alone, but the manager came back 10 minutes later.
People calling me already.
I'm so sorry.
They calling me because they say they can come here and can order like free food.
They're saying that I'm saying that you can come here and order free food.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah.
When Lily Tino saw that she might cause a lot of trouble for the place, she offered to leave.
Those are internet trolls.
Yeah.
But if you'd like, I'm happy to get the check now and leave so that I can be out of your hair.
But being a business, it would be harsh to let Lily leave like that, so the manager told her to stay and finish her drink. Lily Tino then went on to attack the trolls.
They're really sad, miserable people that are transphobic, that try to make my life more difficult. I'm sorry that you had to be a target of that.
Lily Tino finished her meal and enjoyed herself while making fun of the trolls who had called the restaurant manager.
Imagine sitting on the internet and calling up a family-owned restaurant and lying to them?
Despite this attempt to frustrate Lily Tino, someone in the comments commented how she was able to handle the situation without aggression or violence. Abby claimed that, "I'm no fan of her, but she was really handling that situation with dignity and the most respect for the restaurant." The replies she got were not in her favor, as most of those watching didn't completely agree with her. To make Lily's life even more complicated, some people came together and created a petition to bring her TikTok account down. The petition currently has more than 500,000 signatures. The petition read, "We call upon TikTok to carefully evaluate Lily Tino's presence on their platform, considering the broad consensus that her actions may not align with community guidelines aimed to protect users, especially minors. Removing her account would be a prudent step in safeguarding the community and conveying a zero-tolerance policy toward behaviors that could endanger others." So now let's take a look at what Lily Tino has to say about all these allegations put forward against her. Lily Tino starts her video with what feels like a legal disclaimer, but she makes it a bit personal.
I do not have a child, nor have I ever been married. I am not stalking my imaginary ex-wife or anyone.
No child, no ex-wife, no stalking, no marriage. According to Lily, it's all fiction, AI-generated fiction at that. And about that now infamous legal report floating around, Lily says it name drops California law, but she hadn't even set foot in California until 2018.
Of some California law. But fun fact, I didn't live in California in 2016. The first time I ever stepped foot in California was in 2018.
The internet may be creative, but it's not always accurate. She goes a step further, flipping the narrative.
I will also add that I have been stalked. It was very weird and gross, but I have never stalked anyone.
And as for that Disney bathroom photo controversy, Lily says she's not getting sued, and honestly, she doesn't expect to be.
There's also talk of me getting sued for my bathroom pictures at Disney. As far as I know, I am not getting sued, and I don't expect to, because I didn't do anything wrong.
Maybe legally she didn't do anything wrong, but morally, it's just horrible. Whether you believe her or not, one thing's clear. Lily didn't come to entertain rumors. And then there's the petition. You know, the one that's been floating around with more than 500,000 signatures calling for Lily Tino's removal from TikTok.
Then there's the petition. Yes, 500,000 people or whatever number it is now have signed a petition to get me off of TikTok. But that doesn't mean it's going to do anything.
It's unfortunate but true that Lily Tino has not violated the terms and conditions of the TikTok platform. However, people are primarily concerned about the ethical implications of her behavior and its potential negative impact on young people. So what was Lily's point? Virality or provocation doesn't equal violation.
If word of this petition ends up on someone at TikTok's desk, what they'll do is say, did Lily violate our terms of service? The answer is no, so they will not be.
So yeah, 500,000 people might want her gone, but TikTok? As far as she's concerned, they're not even blinking. Her platform is still active to this day. And of course, what's an internet scandal without a workplace rumor? Lily addresses a claim that she was fired from a job for being creepy.
There's a rumor that I was fired from a job for being creepy to a woman?
She says the only time she ever left a job unwillingly was right before becoming a content creator.
The only time I have ever exited a job when it wasn't my choice was right before I became a content creator, and that was a part of a round of layoffs. I didn't do anything wrong, and I wasn't the only one let go.
According to Lily, it wasn't personal. It was a financial issue at her previous workplace that led to the layoffs, and she wasn't the only one let go. Next, Lily talked about a grainy Discord stream, a dirty joke, and a voice named Shelby. That's all it took for the internet to paint Lily as something she says she's not.
There's a video that goes around of me from about 1.5 years ago when I was streaming and talking to people in my Discord. During that stream, we were making dirty jokes about vegetables. The person I was talking to in the clip was named Shelby. Shelby was playing along, and
It didn't take long for Lily's jokes in the live stream to become sexual and inappropriate. But the drama exploded when someone claimed the other person on the call, Shelby, was a minor. What wasn't shown in the clip? Shelby was 25 at the time.
To be clear, Shelby is a 25-year-old woman, or was at the time of the video. She had a full-time job at a major American airline. She had a partner that she lived with, and her mom lived with her and her partner. Shelby was a grown adult.
But then the question is, who's to be believed? Could the person who claimed that Shelby was a kid have done it for attention? Or is Lily Tino trying to clear her name because she knows no one will be able to confidently confirm Shelby's age? And then came the flight attendant story, another viral moment, another accusation. This time, a supposed cabin crew member claimed Lily was rude on a flight back from Orlando. But according to Lily, not only was she exhausted from Disney, she also slept through most of the flight.
This flight attendant claims that I was rude to the cabin crew on my way back from Orlando. First and foremost, I have never seen this person in my entire life. Second, I was flying back from Disney World. I was exhausted, and for the majority of the flight, I slept.
The cabin crew claimed that the rudeness from Lily came when she was misgendered. However, rather than being misgendered or mistreated, she says one of the crew members actually recognized her from the internet and offered her a free snack box.
In fact, one of the cabin crew on that flight was very kind to offer me a free little snack box because they recognized me.
Lily claimed that the person pretending to be a flight attendant is clout chasing. She believes people have learned that spinning a Lily Tino story, true or not, is a quick way to go viral.
Make up a story about me, they can get a lot of views. And that's not fair to you, the viewer, or to me.
The next thing Lily Tino tries to address pertains to this post. The post reads, "Real name is Nick Contino, and he has a criminal record for stalking and harassing a woman who didn't want him. His name is Nicholas Contino, and he is cosplaying, not transitioning. He's 100% rage bait at this point. Lily Tino is just a character he plays. I'm so glad one of the women he caught on camera in a Disney bathroom is looking for a lawyer to sue." Something I noticed is that this seems to be a coordinated attempt by numerous trolls to bring attention to new viewers, highlighting the kind of person they believe Lily Tino is. All of Lily's most recent posts have the same comment from different accounts. The one above was posted by Yarrow. In the next video, an account named Lainey posted the same thing. And in another post, it was someone with emojis as their username. Lily ends her video with the rumor that stings the most, the one that cuts straight into her identity, the one that claims she's not really trans.
Last thing I want to talk about is the rumor that I'm not actually trans, that I've been pretending to take hormones or pretending to get FFS.
Some claim she's faking her transition and accuse her of pretending to take hormones or undergo facial feminization surgery. And what makes it most painful to Lily Tino is that some of those voices are coming from within the trans community.
There's some trans people out there that call me he and call me by my old name. And they say that I'm hurting the cause. Like, really?
Most trans people are distancing themselves from Lily Tino because of her conduct online. She has been a bad representative for the community. The community already faces enough challenges, and adding Lily Tino to the mix only complicates things further. People like Lily give transphobes something to point to as justification for their negative views about trans people. But Lily doesn't just push back, she dares people to watch her old videos.
Don't believe that I didn't get FFS. Look at the video I posted a few months ago. It's undeniable.
First off, that video didn't prove anything. It only showed her in a position that suggests she might have done something like that. If she truly wanted people to believe her, documents and hospital records showing she underwent such a procedure would have cleared the air. Then there's the claim that she's in it for the money. But Lily says there are easier ways to make more money.
If I was doing this just for money, I would have stopped a long time ago. I could definitely be making more money in a different industry. But I'm not, because I like doing this, I care about it.
But here's the thing, most of the other industries Lily might consider won't earn her as much as she's currently making online. It doesn't take much to rage bait people for clicks and views, but it takes a lot to become a software engineer or land any other high-paying job that could match her current income. So no, she would have stayed regardless of the controversy. And just when things get a little heavier, she breaks the tension with a joke, a rumor she's finally ready to confirm.
There is one rumor that is true, though. I've been dancing around it for a long time. I didn't want y'all to know. I am, in fact, a total babe. Thank you in advance for respecting my privacy during this difficult time.
But how did people react to this response video? The first couple of comments didn't bode well for Lily, with one saying, "I smell lying," and another asking, "Am I being gaslighted?" Bam Bam, a commenter, claimed, "A narcissist never thinks they did anything wrong either." How true is that? According to Oregon State University, when most people find that their actions have resulted in an undesirable outcome, they tend to rethink their decisions and ask, "What should I have done differently to avoid this outcome?" When narcissists face the same situation, however, their refrain is, "No one could have seen this coming." In refusing to acknowledge that they may have made a mistake, narcissists fail to learn from those mistakes. Shortly after posting the response video and receiving backlash for what she said and for not taking any accountability where she was clearly wrong, Lily decided it would be a better idea to have someone else speak with her. So she reached out to a creator named Mira for an interview. After the introduction, Mira started asking questions.
What is your longest relationship you've ever had? What is your...
A couple years at the most, depending on how you count.
The interviewer went personal by asking about self-love and how Lily felt about it.
Do you love yourself?
I do. Sometimes I don't like myself, but I've been working on self-love a lot lately, and I think come a long way.
It takes a lot to live like she does, living in denial, lying, rage-baiting, manipulating to make a living, and so much more can be a lot for anyone. So yeah, she might need to do some inner work to truly love herself as she is right now. Before the influencer life, Lily Tino had a very different resume, and she's not shy about it.
I worked at a summer camp for many years, where I was an educator in a kitchen. I had like an instructional kitchen for 5 summers. I was very proud of that job. I learned a lot about myself and about others.
Then came a stint in the nonprofit world, mostly within Jewish organizations. Eventually, she landed a tech job that brought her to San Francisco, the same job she previously claimed she was laid off from. Now, from camp kitchens to tech to full-time content creator. But despite how neat it sounds in hindsight, even Lily admits some of those jobs were just okay. Then comes the question that's floated around the internet before.
No, well, I was laid off as a part of a round of layoffs.
According to her, the company that laid her off is now a defunct mobile gaming company. The company made bad decisions, went under, and her layoff was part of that collapse. This is consistent with the explanation she gave in her earlier response video.
Decisions with the company that didn't go so well, and that's why the company doesn't exist anymore, and me being laid off was a part of that.
It's a reasonable explanation, but as always, these kinds of I wasn't fired, I was laid off stories live in a gray area, especially since she admits to getting in trouble at past jobs for underperformance, though she insists she was never actually let go.
I've been in trouble for not doing the best job in the past, but I've never been fired.
This lines up with what I said earlier in the video. Lily can't leave TikTok or YouTube. She's struggling with other jobs, but this is one she can do without much stress while earning a lot. Then the interviewer asks when her transition began. The date seems emotionally significant to her, though she hesitates briefly before saying it.
Trans in, I always forget the day, I think it's October 20th, 2020.
So how did Lily Tino go from camp kitchens and tech layoffs to full-time internet creator?
I've always been a creator. I have, from when I was little, I made like videos in the backyard with my cousins on like a handheld recorder.
Lily says they made cooking content for summer camp during college and dabbling casually online around the time her transition began. But here's where it gets interesting. Her first big break?
And I started doing casually around the time that I started my transition. I went viral on LinkedIn, weirdly, of all places.
Not exactly the platform you'd expect for trans commentary or camp cooking videos, but somehow her content resonated there first. That early momentum spilled over to TikTok, where her following started to grow fast.
Started building on TikTok as well, and by the time I got laid off from my tech job, I had a base of a following, and that's how I was able to start doing it for a living.
Now, whether that path was pure intention or perfect timing depends on who you ask. But in Lily's version of the story, she didn't chase virality, it found her. Then comes the question that always causes debate. What is your definition of a woman? Lily paused before answering.
That's a tough one, because a lot of people have a very specific and narrow definition.
It's not really people's fault for having what Lily calls a narrow definition of a woman. People's definitions are often shaped by biology and what they perceive as nature or natural law. That if you're born with certain characteristics, you fall under a specific category. And that's not necessarily wrong. But choices and identities can change over time. Lily's inability to give a straight answer is reflected in this person's comment. If you can't define what a woman is, then how can you know if you feel like one or are one?
For me, if you feel like a woman, then you are. There is no rules how your body needs to be configured.
It's the kind of answer that aligns with much of today's gender-affirming discourse, but also one that leads to fierce disagreement in online spaces where definitions of identity remain hotly contested. To Lily, anyone can be a woman as long as they feel like one, and that's why Lily identifies as a woman today. Whether that resonates or riles depends on the listener, but one thing's clear, she's simply stating her truth. But what's the cause of this? This is what's called gender dysphoria or gender diverse. According to a source, gender diverse refers to a person whose gender assigned to them at the time of birth is not in line with the gender they identify with. Transgender people are likely to be affected by gender dysphoria, which is a form of psychological distress that is caused by an imbalance between the they were born with and their gender identity. Although gender dysphoria is typically experienced in childhood, some may not notice it until puberty or even later. This begs the most popular question, whether this is a mental disorder or something that should be taken care of. The source said that the majority of experts do not consider gender dysphoria as an illness of mental health. The reason for this is that the feeling of not being connected to the gender that you were born with isn't a mental disorder in any way. It is the feeling of discomfort that the difference in identity could cause that could highlight certain mental health concerns in gender dysphoria. When Lily Tino is asked what she hopes people remember her for, Lily Tino doesn't have a rehearsed answer, and maybe that says more than it seems.
Something I never really thought about.
She pauses, hesitates, and then settles on something soft.
Making them feel hopeful, or for teaching them something, or for keeping them company.
Her answer is noticeably vague, especially for someone whose platform has been so central to controversy and identity politics online. All of these naturally attract a lot of trolls and negativity, and Lily spoke about how she manages such online hostility.
I have good people around me. I have supportive friends and family.
Despite saying that she leans on a strong support system and has learned to channel the hate into creativity, she admits that it still hurts.
Channel it into creative energy, but it does affect me quite a bit.
This is one of the few moments in the interview where her vulnerability outweighs her usual talking points. But then the conversation shifts again to whether Lily Tino considers herself a trans rights advocate.
I use my platform to advocate and educate, not on behalf of the transgender community as a whole. That's not fair. I don't think anyone can really.
She had an admirable goal, but some might say that oversimplification can be dangerous. When complex identity struggles are boiled down for mass appeal, there's always a risk. Education becomes branding, and advocacy becomes content.
My goal is to bring the absolute basics, right? Like the most core essential things about the trans experience and make them easily understandable.
Now we get into the part of the interview that many viewers likely came for. The allegations, the Reddit posts, the rumors that have haunted Lily Tino's name for years. When asked directly if she's been charged or convicted, Lily gives a vague but telling answer.
One time. I've never talked about this.
She once got in trouble roughly a decade ago for being in possession of unspecified gardening supplies. That's likely code for marijuana or a similarly controlled substance based on common interpretations across the internet.
I had, how do I say this? Gardening supplies with me. And yeah.
And while Lily clarifies that no serious criminal charges ever came from it, the evasiveness itself made everything feel off. In a time where transparency is currency, behavior like this leaves room for doubt. But this is just the warm-up. She's then asked whether she's ever had a restraining order, been accused of stalking or harassment, or used a Reddit account named Pomegranate.
Has anyone in your personal life ever accused you of stalking or harassment? Yeah. Have you ever had a Reddit account with the name Pomegranate in it?
Yes.
This is important. The Pomegranate Reddit account has been linked to a particularly disturbing post, and it's one of the main reasons her critics labeled her as dangerous. Since her rise to fame and with trolls constantly digging for anything to use against her, It's likely that she deleted the account or the incriminating posts because they're nowhere to be found on the internet when I went digging. But Lily Tino addressed it to the viewers, especially in relation to the popular doctor incident.
Basically, I had a Reddit account when I was younger.
She explains that she was 18 at the time and trying to be what she calls an edgelord, chasing shock humor and trying to provoke reactions, something I believe she's still doing to this day. The post in question involved a story she claimed happened when she was 3 years old.
When I was 3, and there was another person who was 3. We were 3 years old, both of us. And we...
What exactly happened when they played doctor? Honestly, I don't even want to imagine. Could someone drop the details in the comments? I'm guessing it involved something about the body, maybe even some inappropriate things that she and the other kid did to each other.
Shocking humor was like what I thought was, cutting edge and cool and funny.
At face value, it's a disturbing thing to recount publicly, made even worse by the fact that she admitted to joking about it. But here's the bigger issue. Many people don't care that she was also a child at the time. What makes the story resurface is how she chose to share it at 18, online in public with humor. That raises uncomfortable but necessary questions. What responsibility do we hold for things we said online as teens, even if they were meant as jokes? Then the interviewer shifts into more personal questions. When asked if she regrets any of her content, Lily doesn't say no, but she doesn't really say yes either.
Not really. I mean, there are certain things that if I could go back, I would do differently. But I don't think that necessarily means, I wish I hadn't.
It's not really an answer, just a shrug. That brings us to another key part of the conversation, misgendering. Lily was asked why she seemed to enjoy being misgendered. Maybe it's because she gets content from those moments.
And the vast majority of those times, I do not get misgendered, right? Sometimes I do. And when I do, I put those videos on the internet to draw attention to what happened.
Lily's often accused of putting herself in situations where she'll be misgendered, live streaming in public places with lots of people around, then posting the clips online to gain sympathy, content, or even free meals. But many people argue that she often looks and speaks masculine and isn't easily distinguishable from other men. So how does she expect to be gendered the way she wants? Here's what she had to say about that.
I'm not asking anyone to read my mind. That's not on my slate of things to advocate for.
She admits she doesn't pass, doesn't voice train, and intentionally keeps her deeper voice. It's not out of carelessness, but because she likes her voice. Lily wants society to use gender-neutral language by default, so that no one, regardless of how they look or sound, has to experience the sting of being misgendered. This user wasn't having any of it. They commented, "My pronouns are she, her," in a deep-ass voice will never cease to make me laugh.
In a perfect world, everyone would use gender-neutral language, and I could have a deeper voice and not have to worry about it,
However, this is also aspirational, maybe even idealistic, considering how deeply gender perception is still tied to visual and vocal cues in today's world. But if misgendering is so painful, why not take steps to reduce it? Why not voice train?
If it means so much to me, if I get so upset about it, why do I not just voice train? The answer there is because this is who I am. This is I like my voice.
This is the problem with Lily. She expects everyone else to change to fit her worldview and how she feels and how she is. But she won't do the bare minimum to make it easier for others to accept her for who she is. She believes the burden of change shouldn't be on her body or her voice, it should be on society. And her reason is that older people who can't transition shouldn't be misgendered either.
Those people shouldn't have to worry about getting misgendered, right? They shouldn't have to say, well, I guess I'm just going to get misgendered 24/7. What if they weren't?
She admits she's confrontational and doesn't apologize for it. When she feels disrespected, misgendered, or mistreated, she reacts loudly and publicly. Some call it bravery, others see it as unnecessary outrage.
The reason I react like that is because, and I know this sounds silly, it's because that's who I am. I am a confrontational person.
It doesn't just sound silly, it is silly. Lily seems to think that whenever she wants to get away with something people don't like, all she has to say is, "This is who I am." And just like that, the world is supposed to accept her without question.
When I see an injustice, I will stand up to it. All the time, every time. So when I get misgendered, that's just my natural reaction.
Lily refuses to conform or train herself, even if it might protect her from harm or being misgendered. Yet she still wants a world that instinctively treats her with the same respect that conformity often brings.
I don't feel like I should be expected to change who I am just so that I don't have to deal with like a certain type of inconvenience, right?
This is just annoying to watch. Another part of the question has to do with someone called Kurt Cobain. Watch this to get a little bit of background on the issue.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans.
Kurt Cobain was an American musician who died in 1994. Lily claimed that he was one of them during a time when things were very different. She made this statement knowing he can't come back from the dead to defend himself. And here's her reaction.
I fully stand by that video.
Even after all this time, she is not backing down on this claim. Some offered a more sincere take in the comments. One person wrote, "The Kurt Cobain stuff makes me so mad." Kurt's whole thing was being a man who was confident in his femininity as a way of rebelling against societal norms. It was a big thing in the 90s grunge scene for guys to wear dresses. Wearing dresses as a guy doesn't make you trans. Clothes are clothes, and if Lily doesn't want people to question her gender, she shouldn't question other people's. This is what the person was referring to.
Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing, and when asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. And just look at Kurt in these pictures, they look so happy.
That's just an oversimplification of someone's character, wouldn't you agree? Or do you think Lily is right for making such a claim about Kurt?
Kurt Cobain cannot hear us. No matter what we say about Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain's gone. Been gone.
But does that make it okay to speculate that they may or may not have been trans?
Yes.
Lily doesn't seem to care when it comes to this matter. It's one of the most consistent parts of her online claims, something she is always stuck with. Why? Because we can't truly know the truth for sure. So her option will always stand whether true or false.
I would never speculate about an alive person being trans because that can impact that person's life if they don't want to come out, if they're not ready to come out, or if they're not trans in the first place.
Her viewpoint is quite twisted. Most people would prefer to make allegations against someone who is alive so they can respond and defend themselves. But for Lily, it's the opposite. And when people asked Lily to be respectful to the Cobain family by not speculating about the dead being trans, here's what she had to say.
That could be damaging to somebody's image. And if it's your family, that...
You say damaging. What about being trans is damaging?
That was a serious and heavy question he asked. The interviewer didn't really have an answer, so he moved on to the next part of the interview with Lily. At this point in the interview, Lily Tino is confronted with something much more personal than random internet hate, the backlash from within the trans community. She's being called out not just by trolls or transphobes, but by also trans creators who say her approach to advocacy is harmful, her content is reckless, and her visibility is becoming a liability.
If someone wants to tell me I'm wrong, be them cis or trans, okay. There's certain things that I have done in my life that I've been wrong about. But advocating for trans people is not one.
She says she receives constant hate, but also daily support. For every video dragging her, there are private messages from fans saying she's changed their lives. And she's not wrong. Social media algorithms reward outrage in extremes, and when someone becomes polarizing, the truth often gets blurred under the noise.
Right? When it gets down to it, my content, I'm not the only person saying that Kurt Cobain was trans, right? I'm not the only person saying that trans women should be able to use bathrooms, but the way I say it is different.
She sees the way she says things as the problem, not what she says. And she believes the algorithm loves it when she's being criticized. But that doesn't mean every criticism is just algorithm-driven hate. Some of it comes from sincere concern, especially from trans people who feel that Lily's tone, stunts, and public reactions are hurting the broader fight. Then comes the most controversial topic of all, the Disney bathroom selfies, and the investigation now being led by the Florida Attorney General. According to the source, the Florida Attorney General's office has launched an investigation into trans TikTok creator Lily Tino's photos from inside a women's restroom at Walt Disney World, which could lead to criminal charges under the state's privacy laws. What really went down at Disney? Lily Tino caused an uproar after posting selfies taken inside a women's restroom at Disney World. It was part of a TikTok series where she rates public bathrooms.
Why not do it somewhere else, basically? Why there, of all places?
Because I love Disney World. And there's a lot of fun, interesting visual things that I can use to make content with.
Lily claims she took those pictures to normalize trans women in women's bathrooms. But the setting, a bathroom at Disney World, a place filled with children and families, is widely seen as an inappropriate location.
Maybe we should talk about those pictures to begin with, right? Those pictures I took because it's important to normalize trans women in women's bathrooms. Wouldn't you agree?
The question's not about the cause she's fighting for, it's about the place and time she's choosing to fight it. The location is what people are criticizing, and it's unclear why Lily seems blind to those concerns.
That location specifically would be the place of places to go make these videos about gender reassignment and take bunch of bathroom selfies with you. You have people in the back that didn't consent, and they've came out and said they felt uncomfortable.
Even after giving that explanation, Lily still saw nothing wrong with what she did.
Huh?
You don't see any wrong in any of this? Like,
Why? Why would I? You tell me.
The way Lily sees it, the only way to create change is by being provocative and stepping on toes, while also making money from her content. She believes that if she doesn't provoke people, the trans community's demands won't be heard. Amanda in the comments did justice to this sentiment perfectly. She said, "Nicky Boy is not advocating for trans people. He only cares about himself and getting money. He is just rage baiting. What he's doing is wrong. Leave women and children alone."
I'm making content that is engaging, that is provocative on purpose.
at the same time, controversial. Would you not agree?
So yeah, Lily knows exactly what she's doing. But because of her actions, the entire trans community is now facing more attacks from people and others who've been waiting for an excuse to voice their biased opinions. Then Lily turns the tables and asks the interviewer for an alternative to her provocative methods, if they're not okay with how she does things.
And if doing it somewhere else besides Disneyland and Disney World. Like, people make content in Disneyland and Disney World, but they're eating the corn cobs. They're not talking about turning them inside out and using cake pops to describe bodily.
That's spot on. One thing's clear. Just look at Lily's body language as the interviewer shares the alternate view. She doesn't seem to care. If she'd filmed the video somewhere more appropriate, where there would be no controversy and no attention for her to feed off of.
If you're not doing this for views and money, why take your content so far and be so controversial about it?
The point is not to be controversial. The point is to engage.
How can you educate someone when you're actively pissing them off? How can you expect people to take you seriously when you're doing things they find questionable or offensive? If your actions only affected you, that'd be one thing. But when they start to negatively impact others too, there's bound to be a problem.
My content immediately becomes boring. And the message you send out...
You think you only have something if you're controversial? I don't think that's true. I think we have the power to do...
Lily Tino believes that the only way she can survive in the competitive online space is by being annoying and provocative. And she's not wrong, but at what cost? She's gonna hurt a lot of people with the things she does or says just to go viral. And let's not forget, this is someone who constantly complains when others say things she finds offensive, like misgendering her. And Lily thinks that this is the only way trans people can advocate.
There is no reality in which we as a trans people can advocate for ourselves and make progress without upsetting people.
Lily says that people don't want trans people to exist, and her solution is to upset them even more and make them more uncomfortable. How does that make any sense? It's hard to fight hate by fueling it. How did people react to this lengthy interview? According to a commenter named Susie, she believed that Lily is dangerous for her comments in the interview. Another person saw her as a dangerous figure, commenting, "This person is a dangerous sociopath. He dances around the controversial questions, never directly answering them, which is something a lot of liars do. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, but we see right through him. Great job of calling him out." To sum the whole interview up, a user gave a wonderful submission saying, "If everyone pays attention, there are signs of body language showing Nick, aka Lily Tino, is not telling the truth about the video he makes, the money he makes on the videos, talking to a kid, not knowingly taking donations from a kid, the Reddit account, the Disney World land situation, the knowing what he's doing while cosplaying and doing adult content, not having the memory of what happened when he was 3 years old, the playing doctor situation, not wanting to get misgendered on purpose for free food and lots of views. If everyone pays attention, you can see the body language. The interviewer did amazing at calling Nick, aka Lily Tino, out on his. If you are reading this, good job, honey. It's amazing how Nick thinks this interview helped him, because from what I know, it definitely does not help." Everything didn't go as planned for Lily Tino after this interview. There was a lot of criticism, maybe more than she expected. This pushed Lily Tino to make a final video revealing some surprising updates about her journey going forward. In the opening seconds, Lily Tino makes it clear that she's only there to educate people.
The whole point of why I do what I do, which is create content, is to educate and to entertain.
It's unfortunate, but her content tends to piss people off more than it educates them, at least in the way she presents it. But almost immediately, the mood shifts. She says her content has changed.
Recently, my content has taken a bit of a shift.
One would think her content might have changed for the better, but it's mostly because of the pain she feels. And when content is driven by hate, the result often leans toward negativity.
I'm hurt. I am deeply hurt because of the amount of hate that I've gotten.
She describes the toll of 2.5 years of online backlash, the constant cycle of criticism, call-outs, and controversy. According to Lily, that pain has changed how she shows up online. It's made her more reactive, more personal, and possibly more defensive.
That hurt has influenced the way that I do things. As a content creator, especially as a streamer.
On the surface, this feels very relatable. Anyone who's faced public scrutiny knows how dehumanizing it can be. Being in the spotlight can leave invisible scars, especially when your identity is constantly questioned. But when a content creator mixes vulnerability with performance, it becomes hard to tell what's real and what's part of the act. Lily says the hate has changed her, but some critics believe it's also helped her grow, suggesting that the negativity may have actually worked in her favor. Lily admits that the more she was attacked, the more confrontational her content became.
And I think that the hurt that I feel has influenced the way that I've pushed in my content to be confrontational and be in your face.
For some, that came across as positive. For others, it felt like a disguise. But what's most interesting is that Lily doesn't just acknowledge the shift. She says she no longer wants pain to be her driving force.
But I don't want the hurt to be a part of it anymore.
But even in this moment of vulnerability, there's an unspoken contradiction. She says she wants to teach the world about transness in a way that's no longer driven by anger, yet without hesitation, also says she'll always be confrontational.
I'm always going to be a confrontational person, but I think there's ways to do it that are not channeling the anger I feel.
And here's the thing, confrontation isn't inherently wrong, especially when you're advocating for marginalized communities. Civil rights movements have always needed disruptors, people who challenge the norm and make others uncomfortable. But the impact of confrontation depends on the intent and the context. Is the goal to educate or to provoke? To dismantle harmful systems or to game the algorithm? Critics of Lily Tino would argue that her in-your-face moments, like public confrontations in restaurants or the bathroom content at Disney, weren't about education at all. They were about going viral.
Awful. And it doesn't just impact me, but my family and my friends. And
being the subject of internet scrutiny isn't just isolating, it's contagious. The people closest to you often become collateral damage in the wake of controversy. This is true not just for Lily, but for countless creators whose families are doxxed, harassed, or dragged into drama they never signed up for. And just like that, Lily Tino steps back.
So to that end, I'm going to take a break.
In influencer culture, especially in spaces filled with activism and controversy, taking a break can serve many purposes. It can soften critics by showing vulnerability, reset the narrative, and even build anticipation for a return. What makes this moment interesting is how Lily frames her break.
I don't know when I'll be back. I'll be back, but I don't know when. I need to take some time. I'm not going to change myself for anybody. That's never going to happen.
It's clear she's not ready to make total and complete amends based on what she's saying. She's not stepping away to change or fix herself, but simply to reflect on how her pain has pushed her to create certain types of content.
I am going to work on the way that my hurt has taken over my content in some ways.
Maybe something good will come out of this break. Or maybe she'll return and go right back to her usual chaotic behavior. Who knows what she'll do next? And with that, Lily Tino signs off for a long break.
Thank you for all the support, and we'll see you somewhere down the road.